Good day everyone. I will be discussing about mapping land suitability for ZMA's production using GIS and EHP technique in Zimbabwe. Land suitability evaluation involves the determination of the level of fitness of a given piece of land for a certain type of use. It refers to how closely the properties of the land unit satisfy the requirements for a specified purpose when all the relevant critical factors are considered. Zimbabwe is classified into 5 agroecological zones based on a single factor or rainfall analysis. To practice the crop land suitability assessment is crucial to enhance agricultural production. High LST where suitable due to warm temperature is more favorable for maize production. The lowland areas are more suitable for maize production in the study area. Techniques used to study land suitability for maize. First is GIS or Geographic Information System. Consists of integrated computer hardware and software that store, manage, analyze, edit, output, and visualize geographic data. GIS stands for an area of land covered by shallow water or saturated by water. Zone Improvement Plan, series of numbers used to help locate an address for meal delivery. The second is Analytical Hierarchy Process or EHP. Combine these different types of factors and turn them into a standard numerical scale. You can use this to make your choice objectively while including all the decision criteria. Is a structured decision-making method that prioritizes criteria and alternatives through a hierarchical framework, but it has its limitations. This is the study area. This map of the country in Zimbabwe is classified into 5 geo-5 ecological zones termed natural regions. This is also a study to generate a land suitability map. Establishing the criteria, factors, and constraints. Criteria were established from the literature and expert knowledge and were identified as environmental, soil type and slope gradient, and climatic, rainfall and temperature. Literature and experts identify rainfall. Next, these factors were used in the study to analyze land suitability for maize production. Non-agricultural land like natural parks, forests, water bodies, and built-up areas were identified as constraints. This is the analytic hierarchy process approach. This table or model is the decision tree model for land suitability analysis using EHP. The EHP model was made up of goals, criteria, and sub-criteria where the overall objective is the suitability map. The scale for pairwise comparison. We have 9 intensity of importance. First is the equally important. Next, equally to moderately important. Third, moderately important. Fourth, moderately to strong important. Fifth, strongly important. Sixth, strongly to very strongly important. 7, very strongly important. 8, very strongly to extremely important. And last, extremely important. Digitizing an overlay of thematic maps. These maps focuses on the 4 suitability layers. First is soil type, temperature, rainfall, and slope gradient. The thematics maps were aggregated to produce a maize suitability map using the overlay technique in a GIS environment. The maize suitability map was integrated with the constraints map to mask out all protected areas and non-agricultural land. The size of each land suitability class was determined including the size of protected areas and non-agricultural land. The thematic suitability comparison matrix produced way shown in Table 3 for annual rainfall, temperature, soil type, and slope gradient. The pairwise comparison of sub-criteria yield normalized ways shown in Table 5. Criteria modeling produced different thematic maps. One for each criteria are classified into 6 land suitability classes. The map was classified into 5 suitability classes: highly suitable, suitable moderately suitable, marginally suitable, and not suitable. The highly suitable class represents land with negligible limitations that are insignificant to affect maize growth. Thus, maize productivity is expected to decrease continuously from highly suitable to marginally suitable land until it is no longer feasible to grow maize under purely rain-fed conditions. The unsuitable land is that which cannot support maize growth in its current state. Final land suitable map for maize production in Zimbabwe. This map shows the result that only 12,383.50 km, representing about 3.20% of the total land, is highly suitable. Suitable areas occupy 64,065.3 km, which represents 16.56% of the total area. Together, highly suitable and suitable areas take about 19.76% of the total area and are mainly situated in the northern hemisphere parts of the country. Overall, the line graph shows the expected normal distribution. Using EHP procedure was useful in decomposing an otherwise complex land suitability problem. Arranging factors in a descending hierarchical from the overall goal, criteria, and sub-criteria in successive levels reduce a multi-dimensional problem into an n-dimensional one. The validation of classification's result. The validity of the result of the classification was verified using regression analysis of measured maize grain yield and land suitability indices. All regression coefficients were significant, indicating that land suitability is directly linked to maize yield. The coefficient of determination ranged from 63 to 85%. The correlation analysis confirmed the accuracy of the classification and showed good agreement between rank suitability classes and maize yield, which is measured of genotypic adaptation. Integrating GIS and EHP was effective in producing land suitability. However, empirically derived quantitative information is needed to validate the classification. In 1990, validation of land suitability classification was performed using empirically derived crop yield response from multi-environmental trials conducted in each land suitability class as recommended by Wajun and Van Rust. The high correlation obtained between maize yield and suitability indices reflect the accuracy of the classification, confirming the effectiveness of combining GIS and EHP in land suitability assessment. The conclusion. Integrating GIS and EHP with computer-captured expert knowledge was useful as a decision support tool in land suitability classification and mapping for maize production. The integration allowed us to manage the factors create thematic layers, compute criterion weights, combine decision criteria through modeling, perform validation analysis, and the production of maze suitability map needed for spatial decision making support in maze graph placement. The maze suitability map can serve as a basis for decision support tool for policymakers, land use planners, and farmers alike regarding maize production in Zimbabwe. That's all, and thank you.